Welcome to the Sleep Hours. Tonight we invite you to wander through a quiet town unlike any other, where whispers drift softly through empty alleys, buildings hold memories of long-forgotten moments, and time itself slows just for you. A place where the night stretches endlessly. Streets glow with flickering lamps, and every shadow hides a secret waiting to be discovered. Let the gentle glow, the faint hum of the night, and the secrets around every corner carry you into a world of calm, mystery, and comfort. The night always arrives quietly in this town. Not suddenly and not with an announcement, but the way a memory fades when you stop looking directly at it. Streetlights flicker on one by one, humming softly as if they are reminding themselves how to glow. The sky settles into a deep painted blue, the kind that feels hand-brushed rather than real. Somewhere far away, a clock ticks, slow and patient, never in a hurry. This is the moment after the story ends, after the laughter fades, after the music rolls its final note. The town remains. Buildings stand gently slouched, as if they have relaxed now that no one is watching. Windows glow with warm yellow light, though no silhouettes pass by them anymore. Curtains hang still, and doors stay closed, not locked, just resting. You walk down the main street without footsteps. Here the ground doesn't echo. It absorbs sound kindly, like it knows you're not meant to be fully awake. A small diner sits on the corner, its sign buzzing faintly, one letter dimmer than the others the way it has always been. Inside, stools remain tucked beneath the counter, perfectly aligned, as if someone cared enough to leave things neat before going home. Coffee cups are turned upside down, and a bell above the door waits patiently for a ring that won't come tonight. There's comfort in that stillness. Further down the road, a row of houses sleeps beneath curved roofs and crooked chimneys. Porch lights glow low, never harsh. Wind chimes sway without wind, chiming so softly you almost think you imagined it. This town doesn't rush. It never learned how. It exists in the pause between moments, in the space where stories rest before being remembered again. The characters who once filled these streets have gone somewhere else, not away, just quiet. Their presence lingers like warmth in a chair someone just stood up from. You feel it as you move, that sense of having been here before, even if you know you haven't. A paper rolls slowly across the road and stops at your feet. There's nothing written on it. There never is. The town prefers suggestion over explanation. Somewhere nearby, a radio hums, not a song and not static, just the soft breath of something still turned on, still waiting. It feels polite to listen, even if there's nothing to hear. The night deepens, not darker, just softer. Shadows stretch comfortably, never threatening, only curious, leaning against walls and gathering beneath trees like old friends sharing silence. This is what happens after the credits roll. The world doesn't disappear, it rests. And as you continue forward, guided by warm lights and gentle quiet, the town seems to notice you, not with surprise, but with recognition, as if it knew you would come eventually, as if it has been waiting. As you move deeper into the town, the street narrows, not sharply, but gently, like it's guiding you rather than redirecting you. The pavement softens beneath your awareness, and the glow from the streetlights becomes warmer, more golden, as if the night itself is trying to be reassuring. Every sound feels distant here, wrapped in a kind of cotton quiet that keeps everything slow and calm. A corner store rests beneath a faded awning, its windows filled with shelves that look stocked but untouched. Rows of neatly stacked items sit patiently, their labels familiar in a way you can't place. A small sign on the door reads, "Open," though no one has entered in a long time. The handle gleams softly, smoothed by countless hands from other evenings, other nights, other stories. Across the street, a playground waits in stillness. The swings hang perfectly motionless, chains catching just enough light to glimmer faintly. A slide curves downward like a frozen smile, and the sandbox remains carefully smoothed, as if someone took the time to leave it just right. Laughter once lived here, bright and effortless, and though it's gone, the echo of it remains, settled into the air like dust that never quite falls. You pause without realizing it, listening. Not for anything specific, just for the feeling of listening itself. The town responds by staying quiet with you. Even the trees seem to hold their breath, leaves resting against one another without rustling. Above, the sky deepens further, dotted with stars that feel placed rather than distant, like they were arranged for comfort rather than accuracy. There's a path leading away from the street, curving between buildings and disappearing behind them. It looks familiar, like a shortcut you once took without thinking. As you follow it, the air cools slightly, carrying the faint scent of rain that may or may not come. Somewhere, water drips in a slow, steady rhythm, marking time without urgency. The buildings along the path lean closer together, their walls painted in soft, muted colors that have faded kindly. Murals decorate the bricks, shapes and figures worn smooth by years of looking. You recognize the emotions more than the images: happiness, curiosity, belonging, all layered gently beneath the paint. Lights glow from windows above, not bright enough to draw attention, just enough to suggest life paused rather than gone. You imagine rooms filled with quiet furniture, tables set but unused, beds waiting patiently. Everything here knows how to wait. As you reach the end of the path, the town opens again, revealing a small square bathed in amber light. A fountain sits at its center, water flowing so slowly it barely makes a sound. Ripples move outward in perfect circles, never breaking, never hurrying. You feel yourself slow to match it, breathing deeper without effort. This town doesn't ask you to remember anything specific. It only invites you to feel what remembering was like. Safe, gentle, unforced. And as the night continues to settle around you, the sense of being held by the quiet grows stronger, as if the town itself is keeping watch, making sure nothing disturbs this moment of rest. The square feels warmer the longer you remain there, as though the light is slowly learning the shape of you. Benches curve around the fountain, their surfaces worn smooth by time and patience rather than use. If you sit, the wood would still feel warm, holding on to the memory of countless quiet evenings. The town has always been good at remembering comfort. From here, streets branch outward in gentle arcs, none of them sharp, none demanding a choice. You sense that wherever you go, the town will adjust, guiding you softly without ever making you feel lost. A lamppost hums nearby, its glow steady and low, casting shadows that stretch lazily across the ground before settling again. A soft sound drifts through the air, barely noticeable at first. It could be music, or maybe just the idea of it. A piano somewhere plays a single note, then rests. After a moment, another note follows, unhurried, as if the melody itself is listening for permission to continue. The sound doesn't travel far. It isn't meant to. It belongs to the night. You walk past a library with tall windows and drawn curtains. Inside, shelves stand full and orderly, books waiting with their spines facing outward, titles faded but familiar. Stories live here quietly, never calling out, content to be known without being opened. A light glows at the reading desk, illuminating an empty chair pulled back just slightly, as if someone stepped away and never needed to return. The air feels heavier now, not in a way that weighs you down, but in a way that holds you in place. Each breath comes slower, deeper, more deliberate. Time stretches kindly, smoothing its edges so nothing feels rushed or unfinished. Even the ticking clock you noticed earlier seems to have softened, its rhythm blending into the background hum of the town. Above you, clouds drift lazily across the stars, thin enough to let the light through. They move with intention, but no destination, content simply to pass. The town mirrors them, existing in motion without purpose, in stillness without stagnation. A gentle breeze passes through, cool and faint, carrying the scent of old paper, warm pavement, and something sweet you can't quite name. It reminds you of evenings that felt endless, when night was not something to fear or hurry through, but something to settle into. You realize then that nothing here expects anything from you. There is no role to play, no line to remember, no ending to reach. The town accepts you as you are in this moment, awake or drifting, present or half asleep. It simply keeps going, softly, steadily, so you don't have to. As you move again, the lights dim just a touch, not to darken the path, but to encourage rest. The piano note fades. The fountain continues its slow, circular rhythm, and the town, content and watchful, prepares to guide you further inward, where the night grows even quieter. The deeper you go, the quieter everything becomes, not because sounds disappear, but because they learn how to rest. Streetlights grow fewer, spaced farther apart, their glow spreading wide and soft instead of bright. The road beneath you feels less like pavement, and more like a memory of one, smooth and forgiving, guiding without resistance. You pass a row of closed storefronts, their signs gently swaying, though there is no wind. Paint is chipped in places, not from neglect, but from age, the kind that comes from being loved for a very long time. Reflections in the glass show only light and shadow, no faces, no movement, just the suggestion that life once flowed easily through these spaces and may do so again someday. A narrow alley opens beside you, dim but welcoming. A single bulb glows above, casting a warm circle on the ground. In its light, small details emerge, chalk lines faded into the pavement, a forgotten toy resting against the wall, the faint imprint of footsteps that never quite disappeared. These are not remnants of loss, but a pause, moments set down carefully rather than left behind. The town seems to breathe with you now. Each step aligns with the slow rhythm of the night, each breath met with quiet understanding. Even the shadows feel gentler here, stretching and settling without urgency, never reaching, never pulling. They are content simply to exist beside you. At the end of the alley, the path opens onto a hill overlooking the town. From here, the lights below resemble constellations scattered across the ground, each one steady and calm. No single light stands out. Together, they create something whole, something peaceful. The sky above mirrors them, stars and streetlights reflecting one another, blurring the line between above and below. You realize then that this town does not sleep the way others do. It doesn't shut down or fade away. It keeps a quiet watch, holding itself together through memory and warmth, waiting for anyone who might wander through after the stories are done. It exists for moments like this when the world slows enough to notice it. A sense of ease settles over you, deep and unforced. The kind that doesn't ask you to let go, but makes holding on feel unnecessary. The town has taken over the work of staying alert, of keeping things safe and steady, and so you don't have to. As you stand there, the lights below dim slightly, not in farewell, but in reassurance. The night wraps around the town like a familiar blanket, tucking streets and buildings into gentle stillness. And somewhere within that quiet, the town prepares to share more, to open places that remember even deeper calm. This is only the beginning. The credits have rolled, but the night is still unfolding. And as the town settles into its soft rhythm, it invites you to stay, to wander a little longer, and to drift comfortably into whatever comes next. Morning never quite arrives here, but the night begins to change in subtle ways. The air feels softer, heavier with quiet. As though the town has settled into a deeper layer of itself, you move away from the overlook and back into the streets, guided now not by lights alone, but by a sense of familiarity that feels earned rather than learned. The first place to greet you is the diner. It looks the same as before, but closer now and more present. The sign still hums faintly, and the windows glow with steady warmth. Inside, the world feels paused mid-breath. Booths line the walls, their vinyl seats gently cracked from years of patient use. Tables are set neatly, napkin holders aligned, menus resting flat as if waiting for hands that already know what to order. This diner remembers voices, not specific words, but the shape of conversations. Late nights filled with laughter that spilled over into early mornings. Quiet afternoons where only one cup of coffee cooled untouched. Moments when time slowed enough for people to feel like they belonged somewhere. The walls hold all of it, layered softly beneath the paint. A bell rests above the door, perfectly still. It hasn't rung in a long while, but it remembers how. Even now it seems ready, holding on to the idea of sound the way the town holds on to everything else, gently, without pressure. You imagine the bell ringing once, twice, the sound fading to the ceiling and settling there to rest. Behind the counter, the coffee machine stands silent, its surface reflecting the warm lights above. Mugs sit upside down in careful rows, each one placed with intention. There is no dust here. The diner keeps itself ready, not out of hope, but out of habit. It remembers what it means to be needed. You move on slowly, stepping back outside where the street waits in patient quiet. Just across from the diner stands a small shop with a display window full of familiar shapes. Toys, books, little objects that once mattered very much. Each item sits exactly where it was left, as if removing even one would disturb the balance of the room. This shop remembers hands, small ones, eager ones, hesitant ones. It remembers choices made carefully and choices made quickly. The feeling of holding something new and imagining a story for it before ever taking it home. The shelves seem to lean inward slightly, protecting what they hold. The door remains closed, but not locked. It never needed to be. The place knows that nothing here is meant to be taken anymore. It is meant to be remembered, to exist as it was, complete and undisturbed. And as you stand there, feeling the weight of those quiet memories, the town seems to settle around you once more, ready to guide you deeper into the places that remember best. The street carries you onward without effort, curving gently as if it already knows where you are meant to go next. The glow from the lamp softens further, spreading across the ground like spilled honey. Every surface reflects a little warmth, enough to make the night feel held together rather than empty. A park opens up beside the road, its entrance marked by a low iron gate that stands ajar. The hinges do not creak. They remember silence. Inside, the path winds through trimmed grass and old trees whose branches arch overhead, forming a quiet shelter. The air here feels different, cooler, calmer, layered with time. Benches line the path, their paint worn smooth in places where people once sat for long stretches, watching nothing in particular. This park remembers waiting. It remembers afternoons that stretched into evening, moments where there was nowhere else to be and no reason to leave. The ground itself seems to hold the imprint of those pauses, as if time settled here more often than anywhere else. Near the center, a small stage stands beneath a canopy of leaves. It is simple, wooden, slightly raised, its surface scuffed by footsteps long since gone. This place remembers applause, not loud or overwhelming, but gentle, sincere. The kind that fades slowly and leaves warmth behind. The echoes linger faintly, pressed into the air, ready to surface if listened for. A fountain rests nearby, smaller than the one in the town square, its water flowing at a nearly imperceptible pace. The sound it makes is barely there, more sensation than noise. This fountain remembers secrets, wishes dropped into the water without being spoken aloud. The coin still rests at the bottom, catching the light softly, never disturbed. You walk past a row of trees where lanterns hang from low branches. They glow steadily, casting circular pools of light onto the ground below. This path remembers footsteps, many of them, coming and going in no particular order. It remembers conversations that ended gently, without needing a final word. As you leave the park, the night seems to follow you, reluctant but willing. The street beyond feels narrower again, more intimate. A low building comes into view, its windows tall and dark, curtains drawn with care. This place feels quieter than the others, heavier with meaning. It is a small theater, its sign faded but intact. Letters curve across the front, announcing stories that once played inside. The doors are closed now, but the building remembers endings. It remembers moments when the lights dimmed and the world on screen became everything for a while. It remembers the comfort of sitting still and letting a story carry you. You stand there longer than you expect to, feeling the weight of all those remembered moments settle gently around you. The town does not rush you onward. It allows the stillness to deepen, knowing that memory, when treated softly, reveals more with time. Beyond the theater, the town grows quieter in a different way, as if it has moved past remembering noise and settled into remembering presence. The buildings here are fewer, spaced farther apart, allowing the night to stretch comfortably between them. The street feels softer and the air carries a faint warmth like something left on low for too long. A small schoolhouse stands at the end of the road, its windows dark, but not empty. The structure is modest, with wide steps leading up to a closed door. This place remembers learning, not the lessons themselves, but the feeling of understanding something for the first time. It remembers chalk dust on hands, the soft scrape of chairs on the floor, the way afternoons seemed endless when the sun filtered in just right. Inside, desks remain neatly arranged, their surfaces worn smooth by careful tracing fingers. Books rest closed, pages gently curled at the edges. The walls remember voices speaking softly, questions asked without fear, answers given with patience. Even now the room feels attentive, as if still listening. Nearby, a long hallway connects to a row of doors, each one closed, each one holding a different quiet. These rooms remember growth. They remember moments of hesitation, of trying again, of slowly becoming something more certain. The silence here is not empty. It is full, layered, settled. You step away as the night shifts once more, guiding you toward a smaller structure beside the school. A modest home, light glowing faintly through a single window. This place remembers care. It remembers meals prepared slowly, conversations held in low voices, evenings spent together without the need for anything else. The warmth inside presses gently against the glass, content to remain where it is. The path continues past the home and into a narrow lane lined with mailboxes. Each one stands closed, their surfaces marked by time. This lane remembers messages, not the words, but the anticipation. The pause before opening something meant just for you. The feeling that someone somewhere thought of you long enough to send a piece of themselves your way. At the end of the lane, a small bridge crosses a shallow stream. The water flows quietly beneath, reflecting the lights above in slow, wavering lines. This bridge remembers crossings, not arrivals or departures, but the moment in between. The stillness where you are neither here nor there, just moving forward. You pause at the center, listening to the water, feeling the balance of the night hold steady around you. The town seems to slow even further, settling into a deeper calm. It knows you are close now to something softer, something more inward. And without speaking, it invites you to continue, deeper into the places that remember best. As you step off the bridge, the town seems to settle around you once more, as if pleased that you took your time. The road beyond is narrower, lined with low fences and softly glowing lamps that cast gentle pools of light onto the ground. Each step feels quieter than the last, not because sound has vanished, but because it no longer needs to be noticed. A modest house rests near the end of the street, its windows glowing faintly behind thin curtains. This place remembers endings that were kind. Good nights spoken softly, lights turned off one by one, the comfort of knowing tomorrow would come without needing to be rushed. The door remains closed, but the warmth inside presses outward, steady and reassuring. Nearby, a small bakery sits tucked into the corner of the block. Its sign is simple, its windows fogged slightly from remembered warmth. This place remembers mornings, early hours filled with gentle routine, hands moving slowly, dough rising patiently. The scent of bread seems to linger even now, carried on the air like a promise that comfort was once made here and could be again. You move past a row of homes where curtains sway just barely, as though the houses themselves are breathing. These walls remember safety. They remember storms passed quietly indoors, laughter muffled by blankets, moments when the outside world felt far away and unimportant. The street holds on to that feeling, keeping it close. At the far end, the road curves into a small cul-de-sac where a single tree stands at the center. Its branches stretch wide, leaves catching the lamplight in soft patterns. This place remembers gathering, not crowds, but closeness. People sitting nearby without needing to speak, sharing the calm simply by being present together. You stand there for a while, feeling the weight of all these remembered moments settle gently into the night. None of them ask to be relived. They are content to exist as they are, complete and untroubled. The town seems to exhale, having shown you what it holds, trusting you to carry the feeling rather than the details. As you turn to leave, the lights dim just slightly, signaling rest rather than goodbye. The places behind you remain as they were, unchanged, unhurried, still remembering. And as the path ahead opens once more, the town prepares to guide you onward, toward quieter spaces where memories soften into whispers. The town grows quieter in a way that feels intentional, as though it has decided to speak only in suggestions now. The lights dim further, not to hide anything, but to make space for subtler things to be noticed. You walk more slowly without meaning to, guided by a sense that listening matters more than moving. At first, there is nothing unusual, just the familiar hush of the night. Then, woven into that silence, something else begins to surface. A faint murmur, too soft to be words, too gentle to interrupt. It drifts through the air like a half-remembered tune, brushing past you and settling briefly before moving on. These are not voices the way voices usually are. They do not call out or demand attention. They exist at the edge of awareness, like thoughts that aren't quite yours. The town has learned how to hold them carefully, letting them echo without becoming overwhelming. You pass a row of buildings where windows glow dimly from within. As you walk by, the murmurs grow slightly clearer, not louder, just more defined. A soft laugh, distant and warm. The cadence of someone explaining something patiently. The rise and fall of a familiar tone that once meant safety. You don't recognize the voices exactly, but they feel known. They carry the shape of characters who once filled this town with motion and sound. Friends, neighbors, companions, from stories long finished, but never forgotten. The voices linger in the spaces they loved most, content to remain where they belong. Near a quiet corner, you hear footsteps that aren't yours, slow and measured, matching your pace without closing the distance. They fade when you stop and return when you move again. The sound is comforting rather than alarming, like walking beside someone without needing to speak. A low wall runs along the street, and as you pass it, you catch a whisper carried on the air. It isn't a sentence, just a tone, gentle and familiar. It reminds you of moments when someone used to say your name softly, not to get your attention, but to reassure you that you weren't alone. The town seems to lean closer now, narrowing the space around you just enough to feel held. The whispers drift in and out, never lingering too long, never pressing for recognition. They are content to exist as impressions, as feelings rather than memories. You realize then that this part of the town exists to honor what once spoke here. It keeps the voices warm and unbroken, allowing them to rest without fading completely. And as you continue walking, the murmurs grow steadier, guiding you gently forward, deeper into the quiet, where the whispers grow softer and the night listens with you. The further you walk, the more the town seems to soften around you, as though it is slowly lowering its voice. The street beneath you grows quieter, absorbing even the idea of sound, and the lamps along the road dim just enough to let shadows stretch comfortably without becoming unclear. Everything feels slower here, unhurried in a way that invites you to linger. The whispers return, closer now and drifting through the space between buildings and settling briefly at your side. They do not speak in words you can follow, but in tones that feel unmistakably familiar. The gentle rhythm of encouragement, the playful lift of curiosity, the calm steadiness of someone who always knew how to make things feel okay again. Each whisper arrives, rests for a moment, and fades without asking to be remembered. You pass a small home with a single light glowing in the window. As you draw near, a murmur slips through the air, sounding like a quiet goodnight spoken just before sleep. The house seems to hold on to it, letting the sound sink into the walls where it can remain undisturbed. The warmth from inside brushes against you and then recedes, content to stay where it belongs. Further along, the road bends gently, leading you past places you've already seen, though they feel different now. The diner, the park, the theater. Each one carries its own set of whispers, layered softly like overlapping memories. A laugh here, a thoughtful pause there, the faint trace of a conversation that once meant everything and now means peace. At the edge of the park, the lanterns glow lower than before. As you walk beneath them, the whispers align briefly, forming a quiet harmony. Not a song, but something close enough to feel musical. It vibrates gently through the air, settling into your chest before fading again. You find yourself breathing in time with it, slow and steady. The town doesn't let the whispers grow too clear. It knows that clarity would pull you back into wakefulness. Instead, it keeps them blurred, softened at the edges, allowing them to exist without demanding attention. They are meant to soothe, not to stir. As you move onward, the murmurs grow less frequent but more intentional, appearing only when the space feels right. A tone of reassurance as you pass a darkened window. A gentle echo of curiosity as you turn a corner. Each one feels placed rather than random, guided by a town that knows exactly how much is enough. The night thickens around you, comfortable and calm, and with every step, the whispers lead you deeper into their quiet rhythm, preparing you for a place where even sound itself begins to rest. The town feels closer now, not in distance, but in presence. Buildings lean in just slightly, narrowing the space between them, not to confine you, but to quiet the night even further. The lamps glow dim and steady, their light spreading like a soft sigh across the ground. Everything here seems to move with care, as though even motion has learned how to rest. The whispers grow gentler still, thinning into something almost like breath. You hear them in the spaces between sounds, in the pause after your footsteps fade. A familiar warmth settles around you, the kind that comes from being near something known, even if you cannot name it. You pass beneath an archway where vines trail downward, leaves catching the low light and casting shifting patterns on the stone. As you move through, a whisper drifts close, carrying the feeling of reassurance without words. It reminds you of moments when everything felt uncertain, yet someone nearby made it feel manageable just by being there. Beyond the archway, the street opens into a narrow lane where homes sit closer together. Windows glow faintly behind curtains drawn just enough to let light escape. From within, soft murmurs rise and fall, not conversations, but impressions of them. The cadence of a bedtime story, the quiet rhythm of someone speaking patiently. The comforting sound of voices meant to guide rather than command. The air here feels heavier, layered with memory and calm. Each breath settles deeper than the last. Time stretches again, smoothing itself out until it feels almost absent. You no longer sense minutes passing, only the steady continuation of the night. As you continue, the whispers begin to fade in and out more slowly, appearing only when you pause or turn. It feels as though the town is responding to your awareness, offering sound only when you are ready to receive it. Nothing is rushed. Nothing repeats unnecessarily. Each whisper arrives with intention. A small set of steps leads down to a recessed courtyard, barely visible from the street. The space is enclosed, protected from the rest of the town. In the center, a single lamp glows, its light warm and constant. The whispers gather here, overlapping briefly before settling into near silence. You stand there, surrounded by quiet that feels complete rather than empty. The voices have done their work, guiding you inward toward rest. They linger at the edges now, no longer leading, only watching gently as you slow to match the stillness around you. The town holds this space carefully, allowing you to remain for as long as you need. And as the night deepens further, the whispers soften into something even quieter, preparing to fade into a calm where words are no longer necessary. The courtyard remains still, the single lamp casting a circle of warmth that feels almost like an embrace. The whispers have grown faint, retreating to the edges, leaving only the echo of their presence behind. It is a quiet that is alive, filled with memory and comfort, but never demanding attention. You can feel it surrounding you, holding you in a gentle pause. From somewhere above, a breeze stirs lightly, brushing against leaves and loose papers left on the ground. The movement carries the faintest traces of sound, a soft hum, the edge of a laugh, the gentle cadence of speech that never fully forms. It is a reminder that the voices have not gone, only resting, waiting for someone who listens as carefully as you do. You step forward slowly, noticing how the town itself seems to lean toward you, each building and streetlight subtly adjusting to create the quietest path possible. Even the shadows stretch lazily in your direction, offering gentle companionship without words. The air smells faintly of old books, warm pavement, and something sweet, almost imperceptible, like memory itself distilled into fragrance. The lane beyond the courtyard curves gently, leading to another small square where a fountain bubbles quietly. The water's rhythm is slow and measured, echoing the night's pulse. It reflects the soft glow of lamps, merging light and liquid into patterns that shift with hypnotic calm. Standing here, you feel the whisper's essence settle completely into the town, blending seamlessly with the gentle night, as though everything is breathing together in perfect stillness. A small set of steps leads upward from the square, guiding you toward the next street. There is no hurry, no urgency, only the quiet assurance that the town moves with you, patiently, thoughtfully. Every detail seems intentional. The soft hum of a lamp, the faint sway of a curtain, the distant echo of a memory that feels like warmth against your skin. You realize now that the town has not just preserved these voices, it has nurtured them, allowed them to remain gentle and soft, carefully balanced with the calm of the night. They do not overwhelm, they do not distract. They simply exist, like light on water, like the hum of a familiar melody you can almost recall but do not need to name. And as you continue along the curved street, moving deeper into the calm and stillness, the town itself feels alive in its quiet, guiding you forward without effort. The whispers fade almost completely, leaving only the memory of reassurance, the echo of familiarity. The night wraps itself around everything, holding you gently, preparing you for the final segment where all the town's rest and comfort will merge into a single, soothing embrace. The night begins to stretch thinner now, though not in brightness, only in anticipation of what is coming. The town feels lighter in its quiet, as if holding its breath in preparation. Streetlights glow faintly, their golden hum softening into a warmth that reaches the pavement and the edges of your awareness alike. You move forward slowly, sensing that the night is preparing to ease into a new kind of calm. The buildings stand quietly, taller and shorter alike, their windows still glowing with that gentle amber light. Curtains sway faintly, moved by a breeze that feels soft enough to carry dreams rather than air. Every surface, every corner, seems aware of your presence, leaning subtly toward you as though to guide each step. Even the street itself curves with patience, folding the path gently beneath your feet. A low fog begins to roll in, not cold or damp, but soft and almost luminous. It drifts across the pavement and around the bases of buildings, clinging briefly to corners and edges before floating away. The fog seems aware, moving slowly, deliberately, carrying with it the faint smell of early morning rain, warm earth, and something sweet and undefinable, like the memory of comfort. A fountain appears ahead, smaller than the square's centerpiece, but steady and calm. Its water ripples in soft circles, catching the lamplight and reflecting it like tiny stars scattered across a liquid sky. You stop for a moment, listening to the subtle rush, the whisper of water over stone, the gentle reminder that the town keeps moving even when stillness feels complete. Nearby, a row of houses stands quietly, their porches empty but welcoming. A soft glow filters from within, warming the steps and casting inviting shadows across the street. The air feels calm here, heavier with the scent of freshly swept floors, baked bread from long-closed kitchens, and the faint, comforting musk of well-loved furniture. The town holds onto this scent like it holds onto memory itself, careful not to let it fade. The path curves gently past the houses, leading to a small park. Here, a single bench rests beneath a tree whose branches stretch wide, leaves catching the faint light and trembling as though breathing. The grass is soft, kissed lightly by dew, and the air carries only the quietest of sounds, a gentle rustle of leaves, the distant hum of a lamp, the soft ripple of the fountain. Everything here feels patient, as though time itself has slowed to let you notice it fully. There is no rush, no urgency, only the careful rhythm of a town that has learned how to exist in calm and to offer that calm freely. And as you move through the park, you feel the night itself beginning to fold gently into day, not with harsh light or abrupt change, but with soft, deliberate ease, like a curtain being drawn slowly to reveal something familiar yet new. The park stretches ahead, quiet and waiting, as if it has held this space just for you. Dew sparkles faintly on the grass, catching the soft glow from lamps that hum low and steady. A gentle breeze drifts through the branches, carrying the faint scent of damp earth and early morning flowers. The night does not fade abruptly here. Instead, it softens, easing into a calm that feels like a hug around the town. A narrow path curves gently alongside the fountain, leading you to a small wooden bridge crossing a shallow stream. The water below moves slowly, rippling lightly, reflecting the faint glow of the surrounding lamps. Each ripple seems deliberate, not hurried, carrying the night's quiet forward with the steady rhythm of a gentle lullaby. You pause, listening to the soft movement, feeling the town's careful calm echoing in every sound. On the other side, the lane opens into another quiet square. Here a single lamppost casts its warm light over the cobblestones, which shine slightly as if polished by unseen hands. Shadows stretch and bend around the edges of the square, but they are soft, protective, never threatening. The town feels aware, leaning just enough to make the space feel held and secure. Nearby, a small house stands with its windows glowing faintly behind partially drawn curtains. The scent of something sweet drifts from within, like bread baking or tea steeping, though the kitchens are empty. The warmth presses outward gently, wrapping the lane in reassurance. You feel the calm extend to you as you walk past, each step slower, steadier, in rhythm with the town's quiet pulse. The sounds of the town are subtle now, layered in such a way that they almost blend with your own breathing. A soft creak from a porch, the faint rush of water in the fountain, the gentle hum of a lamp. It all combines into a soothing, immersive symphony. Nothing demands your attention. Everything exists to comfort, to slow time, to make space for peace. At the far end of the square, the street curves again, revealing a small hill rising gently before you. A single tree crowns the top, its branches sprawling wide. The leaves catch the glow from the lamppost below, shimmering faintly as if holding the first hint of dawn in their tips. The path up the hill feels deliberate, like the town is guiding you forward without words, offering an invitation to pause, breathe, and feel the night folding into day. The fog lingers here, soft and luminous, drifting slowly over the ground and through the branches. It does not obscure, but rather wraps the town in a gentle haze, smoothing every corner, muting any sharpness. You feel held, as if the town itself has gathered its memories, its whispers, its calm, and tucked them around you, allowing everything to rest. The path up the hill rises slowly, winding beneath the soft glow of street lamps that lean just enough to guide your steps. Each stone beneath your feet feels worn, not by time alone, but by countless quiet journeys taken before. The air carries the faint scent of morning dew mixed with warm earth, a subtle reminder that the night is preparing to release the town into a new kind of light. As you climb, the fog drifts lightly around the trunks of trees, curling in delicate spirals before dissolving into the air. You notice the faintest rustle in the branches, though no wind stirs. It is as though the town itself exhales softly, moving with care to make every sound gentle, every shadow comforting. The subtle hum of the night becomes a rhythm you follow without thinking, your breathing sinking naturally to its pulse. Halfway up a narrow bench rests beneath a spreading tree. The wood is smooth, warm to the touch, and inviting. You pause to sit, feeling the town's calm settle around you like a blanket. From here you can see the street below, the glow of lamps reflecting softly on cobblestones, the quiet squares you have passed, lingering like memory in the air. Everything seems held in gentle balance, as if the town itself is breathing alongside you. A soft trickle of water comes from a small fountain beside the bench, its gentle movement reflecting light in patterns that dance lazily across the ground. The sound is minimal, yet it carries the weight of countless quiet moments, echoing in perfect harmony with your heartbeat. You realize that even as the night begins to fold into dawn, the town preserves its sense of stillness, allowing each detail to remain unhurried, intentional, and soothing. The whispers you heard earlier are no longer words, but impressions that drift faintly at the edge of your awareness, hints of presence, echoes of familiarity, soft guidance that does not demand recognition. They linger like a gentle hum, threading through the air and wrapping around the branches overhead. Each note, each hint of sound feels deliberate, placed to calm rather than startle, to soothe rather than awaken. Above the hill, the first faint hints of dawn begin to touch the horizon. Not sudden, not harsh, but soft glimmers of light that fade gently into the deep blue of night. The fog catches it, turning the haze into a luminous veil that softens every edge, blurring the line between shadow and glow. The town remains quiet, its streets and buildings steady, as if acknowledging that this moment of transition is both delicate and perfect. You rise from the bench and continue your slow ascent, feeling the weight of calm settling fully over your shoulders. Each step feels lighter, the air warmer, the night's comfort blending seamlessly with the first hints of day. The hill seems to lift you gently, guiding your view over the town below, a place that has preserved its whispers, memories, and warmth for moments like this. At the top of the hill, you pause, looking out over the town below. The streets you have wandered through glimmer softly in the faint dawn light, the lamps still glowing gently, and the shadows lingering in quiet corners. Everything feels suspended between night and day, held delicately in a calm that is neither hurried nor tense. The town exhales slowly, and you feel that same exhale flow through you. The first rays of light touch the tops of buildings, glimmering on rooftops and windows, blending seamlessly with the soft golden glow of the street lamps. The fog drifts lightly, curling around corners, softening every edge, bathing the town in a gentle haze. It feels protective, as if the night and the first light of dawn are holding the town in a shared embrace, preserving its peace while welcoming the new day. From here, you notice details you may have missed before. The tiny bench beneath the tree swaying faintly, the fountain's water rippling in lazy, perfect circles, the soft hum of air moving through leaves and branches. Every sound, every movement seems intentional, measured, and reassuring. The town does not hurry. It simply exists, alive in its gentle rhythm, allowing you to witness it fully. A breeze drifts through the hilltop, carrying with it the faint sense of warm earth, morning dew, and something sweet and undefinable. It brushes against your face and then disappears, leaving only a lingering sense of comfort. The whispers of voices you heard earlier have softened into memory, echoing faintly in the corners of your mind. They do not call for attention. They simply remain, woven into the town's calm like threads of light. The street below stretches in quiet arcs, leading to familiar squares, the diner, the park, and the fountain, each space glowing softly in the blending light. The town feels complete, balanced between the remnants of night and the arrival of dawn. There is a harmony here, one that invites you to rest, to breathe, to move slowly, or even simply to pause and absorb the gentle energy surrounding you. As you stand atop the hill, the soft warmth of the dawn seems to fold around you, the quiet of the night lingering in gentle support. You realize the town has guided you fully into this moment, through streets that remember, voices that comfort, and spaces that nurture calm. Here everything is safe, steady, and unhurried, and for a while, nothing else matters except the delicate rhythm of being present. The first light of morning spreads slowly across the horizon, merging with the warm glow of the town, bathing every corner in soft gold. The streets, the buildings, the fountains, and the trees hold their quiet dignity, a town that exists to comfort, to hold, and to whisper gently that everything is exactly as it should be. And in that perfect stillness, you feel the calm seep fully into you, leaving only quiet, warmth, and the cozy embrace of dawn. Sleep well, and let the town's quiet keep you company. Good night, everyone.